Imagine this. You've spent countless hours in a world where the line between hero and villain blurs, where every battle tests your skill, strategy, and reflexes. Overwatch, a game that brought together a global community of players, each fighting for victory, but always with the looming knowledge that something more was waiting. But now, as the servers for the original Overwatch shut down and Overwatch 2 emerges from the shadows, the question lingers. Is this a true evolution, or just a hollow shell of its predecessor? As the game launches, the excitement is palpable, but so is the uncertainty. A new chapter begins, yet it feels like a deep, eerie calm before the storm. Server issues, long queues, frustration building with every minute wasted. This isn't the grand entrance most players envisioned. There's an unsettling feeling, as if the world you once knew is slipping through your fingers, replaced by something unfamiliar. Overwatch 2. Promises change, but at what cost? And then, just as quickly as the frustration builds, the game unveils. Its new heartbeat, a shift from 6v6 to 5v5, a faster-paced, more aggressive battlefield. The thrill of a well-timed shot now feels more immediate, more crucial. But underneath it all, a sense of isolation sets in. Can you find your place in this new world, or will you be left behind? Every decision, every play, feels like a test of endurance, of resilience, of adapting to a battlefield that's constantly shifting. This is Overwatch 2 Kinds, a battleground where the stakes are higher, the pressure more intense, and the silence after each game deafening. Will you rise to the challenge, or will you fall like so many before you? The story of Overwatch 2 Weekend is only just beginning, and trust me, it's far from over. Initial impressions, launch woes, and expectations. From the moment Overwatch 2 dropped, the excitement was palpable until players were hit with an all too familiar feeling: waiting. The launch was anything but smooth. Server issues piled up quickly, with players stuck in seemingly endless queues, staring at the loading screen for hours. Blizzard, known for its rocky launches in the past, unfortunately didn't seem to fix much on this front. A DDoS attack took the game offline shortly after launch, intensifying the frustration. For some, it wasn't a battle for supremacy on the battlefield. It was a battle of patience, a waiting game in place of the fast-paced action that had been promised. It's frustrating when you're eager to dive into the world of Overwatch 2, only to feel as if you're stuck in a never-ending loop of loading screens and failed connections. While the chaos of the first Overwatch launch comes to mind, there was a faint hope that Overwatch 2 would rise above these technical hurdles. The launch was expected to be smoother, more polished, but that wasn't the case. Yes, the servers are slightly more stable, but the experience still feels incomplete. The action we were so eager to jump into felt more like a distant dream. And when we finally did get in, the game still struggled to live up to expectations. So, what can we expect moving forward? Will Blizzard finally iron out these technical issues, or is this just the reality we'll be facing in the early days of the game? There's hope. Once the servers are stabilized, there's potential for Overwatch 2 to shine. But as it stands now, we're left questioning whether the core experience will live up to the hype, or if we'll be left waiting a lot longer before we can finally dive into the action. The excitement is still there, but will it be enough to hold us over until Blizzard gets it right? Gameplay and new features, the shift to 5v5 and new modes. Let's dive into the heart of Overwatch 2, the gameplay. If you've played the original Overwatch, you'll notice a major change right away: the shift from 6v6 to 5v5. At first glance, this might seem like a minor tweak, but in reality, it's a game changer. With fewer players per team, every action feels more significant. No longer can you hide behind a full roster of teammates to bail you out. Now, every player's contribution matters more, and the weight of each decision is amplified. The pacing feels faster, the action more intense, and surprisingly, it all feels far more controlled compared to the chaotic 6v6 matches we once knew. This new dynamic makes the game not only more thrilling, but also more strategic. The emphasis on individual skill and team coordination has increased, and while the game's familiar chaos still exists, it now has a more structured flow, As players, we found ourselves making faster decisions, using abilities at just the right time, and feeling like our actions truly mattered in every match. Even for casual players like us, it felt more satisfying to contribute to the team's victory. It's no longer just about outlasting your opponents, it's about controlling the pace and making every move count. But Overwatch 2 doesn't stop at the 5v5 format. Enter the new push game mode, which is an interesting and much-needed twist on the traditional payload concept. In this mode, instead of simply pushing a payload to the enemy base, you're now fighting for control of a robot in the middle of the map. Both teams try to move this robot toward the enemy's base, and the strategic element here is palpable. It's a fresh take that forces teams to think on their feet and manage the robot's movement while simultaneously defending their own ground. It might sound simple, but it introduces a level of tactical depth that keeps matches fresh and exciting. The stakes feel higher, and every inch of ground gained or lost adds a layer of tension that keeps players engaged from start to finish. Another small but impactful addition is the new ping system. While it may seem trivial, this feature adds a lot of value, especially for solo players or those who prefer not to use voice chat. The ability to quickly mark enemy positions, objectives, or danger zones allows for better communication and team coordination without ever having to speak a word. This change isn't just about convenience, it's about increasing the strategic depth of each match, making it easier for players to work together and improve their chances of success. New heroes and character adjustments. What's changed? Overwatch 2 is not just about new modes and fresh gameplay. It's also about new heroes and exciting tweaks to beloved characters. Let's begin with the newcomers, starting with Sojourn, a powerhouse armed with a devastating railgun. She brings a unique playstyle that feels powerful in theory, but in practice, she hasn't quite captured the community's attention just yet. While her high-tech weaponry makes for an interesting addition, it remains to be seen whether she can rise to the same level of popularity as some of the game's iconic heroes. Still, she adds some fun variety to the roster, and her potential is definitely there. Then there's Junker Queen, a tank who thrives on chaos. Her playstyle revolves around disruption and crowd control, making her a force to be reckoned with. If you love creating mayhem in the enemy ranks, Junker Queen is your go-to. However, the nerf she received post-beta left some fans feeling a bit deflated, as they were excited to see her dominate the battlefield. Still, she's got potential, and for those who enjoy a more aggressive tank role, she's a fun hero to master. But perhaps the standout hero in Overwatch 2 is Kiriko. Her skill set is incredibly versatile, making her one of the most exciting additions to the game. Kiriko's ultimate ability is nothing short of game-changing, providing her team with significant advantages in battle. However, what really sets her apart is the skill ceiling. To fully unlock her potential, you need to be at the top of your game. For players who can master her abilities, Kiriko is a powerhouse that can turn the tide of any match. We've had more than our fair share of getting absolutely wrecked by Kiriko mains, and it's clear she's a top-tier pick for those who can master her intricate mechanics. And it's not just the new heroes that are shaking things up. Doomfist, a character long known for his dive-heavy, damage-dealing ways, has now taken on the role of tank. This shift adds an interesting layer of strategy, as players must adapt to the new playstyle and figure out how to make the most of his altered abilities. Additionally, Mercy's resurrect ability has been tweaked, bringing a new dynamic to the support role. These changes bring fresh challenges for veteran players, and mastering these reworked characters adds a whole new layer of depth to the game. The free-to-play transition, monetization, and battle pass. This is where things get a little tricky. Overwatch 2 has fully embraced the free-to-play model, and while that sounds appealing at first, it comes with a significant catch. Gone are the days of loot boxes, replaced by a new monetization strategy that revolves around battle passes and a store filled with premium content. There's still a free battle pass, but if you want instant access to a new hero or need that extra XP boost to climb through the tiers faster, you'll need to open your wallet. For some players, this shift feels like a necessary evil. After all, the game is free to play now. But for longtime fans of Overwatch, this change feels like a bitter pill to swallow. The sense of pride we once had from unlocking skins, emotes, and heroes through gameplay is now overshadowed by the constant reminder that progress often comes with a price tag. Sure, the game is free, but every exciting new skin, character, or perk seems locked behind a paywall. What was once a vibrant, thriving world of accessible rewards now feels like a grind, and not the fun, rewarding kind. The Battle Pass model isn't exactly groundbreaking. We've seen it in countless other games, and it's always met with mixed reactions. For players who just want to play the game and unlock content through effort and time, this shift can feel like a slap in the face. However, the Battle Pass does offer some structure, with challenges that keep you motivated and provide a clear path for progression. If you're the type of player who enjoys ticking off checklists and working towards specific goals, the Battle Pass might add some appeal. But even then, it's hard to ignore the feeling that progress is only meaningful if you're willing to spend extra money to speed things up. Conclusion: is Overwatch 2 worth your time? So, is Overwatch 2 worth your time? The answer isn't straightforward. If you've been hoping for a true sequel that builds on the original, Overwatch 2 is a bit of a mixed bag. The gameplay changes. Particularly the switch to 5v5 and the introduction of new heroes like Kiriko definitely make matches feel more impactful and engaging. The action is faster, the stakes are higher, and every decision feels more critical. But the technical issues, including frustrating server problems and the aggressive monetization model, do hinder the experience. If you're someone who can roll with the punches of a free-to-play model and you're patient enough to wait for Blizzard to iron out the bugs, there's still a lot of fun to be had. The core game is definitely fun, but it's clear that it's still in the process of evolving. However, if you were expecting a seamless, polished experience from the start, it might be worth waiting a bit longer for Blizzard to address the launch issues and fine-tune the game. In the end, Overwatch 2 has the potential to be something truly exciting, but we'll have to see how it develops in the months to come. Until then, what do you think? Have you already jumped into Overwatch 2, or are you still on the fence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if this review helped, don't forget to like and share. It really helps us out more than you think.